This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Unsuspecting thieves burglarizing homes in one Indianapolis neighborhood. I'm Stephanie Wade with what's different about this crime and why neighbors feel targeted.
And more than 24 people confirmed dead after tornadoes ripped across Middle Tennessee. The new information coming in at this hour.
The wind headlines my forecast over the next 24 hours. We'll talk about what happens by the weekend coming up.
That's a spit in the face to the residents here.
Homeowners upset about a proposal to build an apartment complex nearby. And tonight, we're hearing about their concerns and what they plan to do about it.
They're watching people, or they're just probably walking the streets to see an opportunity, and they're taking it.
Only on RTV6, we are learning about a pattern of crime from unsuspecting thieves in an Indianapolis neighborhood.
Yeah, take a look at this ring video captured by people in the Central State neighborhood just west of downtown.
Now you see a man dressed in a yellow reflective vest walking off with someone's TV.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade is investigating the recent burglaries and talking with neighbors who feel they're being targeted.
Several ring videos show what appear to be the same suspect wearing a yellow reflective vest like this one, walking off with people's items from their homes and front porches. Since the area is under construction right now, people say he looked unsuspecting.
He just walked right by as if it was just another day in the neighborhood.
Another day in the Central State neighborhood, that is. Video after video capturing someone wearing reflective gear, stealing things from people's homes.
It seems like there's been break-ins or there's been people stealing from the porches or going into people's garages probably at least 2 to 3 times a week.
We found several police reports from the past 6 weeks alone for theft in the area. In Joanne Sergi's case, the suspect stole her TV from inside her house.
He must have gone through my window, out my front door, then went back and took the screen off the window. Evidently, he probably had fingerprints on there, and set it down, and then just casually walked right away, walked in front of all of my neighbors' video cameras.
So you don't know if it's a construction worker necessarily or someone posing as one?
No, I have no idea, but I find it really odd that you would wear reflective gear when you're going to be out taking things from people's homes.
A newer complex, she says construction workers are plentiful.
Since they're starting a new addition to the area, there's people coming and going all the time.
Police are aware of the issue. Sergi and others hope they find and stop the culprit soon.
Show a presence there and kind of give us some advice and reassure us that they are watching the area and that they hope to catch some of these people because it's really brazen, some of the acts that they're doing.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Well, IMPD says these cases are being looked into. They're also adding extra patrols in that area to protect homeowners as they do when crime increases in any area. Right now, IMPD is investigating after a person walking along Fall Creek found a body floating in the water this afternoon on the city's northeast side. Just after 4 o'clock, police rushed to the 4400 block of East Fall Creek Parkway North Drive near North Keystone Avenue and Binford Boulevard. Crime Lab techs joined police officers and detectives at the scene along the banks of Fall Creek, but it's still unclear how this person died and how he or she ended up in Fall Creek.
And just into the RTV6 newsroom, we are learning 25 people are dead after tornadoes devastated Middle Tennessee overnight, and many more are missing. At least 2 confirmed tornadoes touched down in Nashville, wreaking havoc as they tore across the city. Emergency crews are working to clear debris-filled streets after at least 45 buildings collapsed in the Music City.
We've been through lots of tornado warnings and never thought that this would happen. It's just shock. It's like a war zone.
Thousands in the Nashville area are still without power as their power lines dangle dangerously in the streets. This is the deadliest tornado outbreak in the U.S. since 23 people died in Alabama 1 year ago. President Trump tweeted his support for Tennessee, announcing he will be making a visit this Friday. And this is a grim reminder that severe weather season is here, and we know tornadoes and severe weather can easily impact Indiana as well. That's why, if you have not already, you should download the Storm Shield app and the RTV6 app. The Storm Shield app will send you real-time warnings and watches, plus the RTV6 app will keep you up to date about what's going to happen in your neighborhood. From our team of Storm Team 6 meteorologists. Kevin.
Still not knowing exactly how many tornadoes, whether this was one that stayed on the ground for a long period of time or multiple tornadoes. They started west of Nashville. That was after 11 o'clock at night. The Nashville area about 12:41 a.m. and then just before 2 a.m. Cookeville about 80 miles east of Nashville. That's the hardest hit community where most of the fatalities were reported. High pressure now sits over Tennessee. It's the difference between that area of high pressure and low pressure in the northeast that has our wind howling. 46-mile-per-hour gusts this afternoon in Indianapolis. The wind will calm down just a little bit. 31-mile-per-hour gust at this hour. Still strong everywhere. The wind will hit a little lull later tonight and then come back up tomorrow, but not as strong. In the morning, could have a couple of rain showers north of Lafayette to Peru, maybe a couple snowflakes mixing in there. This quick shower activity would zip to the east, and then we're on to dry conditions with temperatures staying mild until Friday.
Residents in a West Side neighborhood are upset tonight about unsure the future of hundreds of trees near their homes. The developer wants to build apartments on High School Road south of Rockville. Megan Sanctorum found out why some are so against it and what they plan to do next.
This wooded area behind the pond is where those apartment buildings would go. And some people who live in the area say they don't think it's the right spot.
This is a very pretty area. You know, it's a desirable area.
Tiffany Lawson-Allen says she loves everything about her neighborhood.
The quietness. I mean, we're really close to everything. We have, you know, grocery stores, malls. We're close to our resources and things that we need, but it feels quiet here with the nature.
The nature she's referring to is this piece of land. It sits along High School Road and is surrounded by homes, but changes could be coming.
For them to propose putting in these luxury apartments, I mean, that's a spit in the face to the residents here.
Documents from the Department of Metropolitan Development show a proposal for a 216-unit apartment complex made up of several three-story buildings, a clubhouse, and pool. Neighbors are now voicing several concerns.
It would cause more congestion in the area for traffic. Right now, it's already pretty hard to get out onto High School Road.
She's also worried about property values and says overall, the biggest impact will be for the homeowners that border this land.
This new proposition would be in their backyard, essentially. And I know that that would really just diminish the idea of what peaceful nature is here.
Others agree.
I don't think it's the right place for luxury apartments. I'd love to see one person buy that property and build a nice home in there.
According to documents from the city, the developer would keep as many existing trees as possible, but some say that's not enough.
We don't want to disturb what we have going here.
Before the project can move forward, the land would have to be rezoned. A public hearing on that zoning change is scheduled for later this month. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And we will continue to follow the story and let you know if the zoning change is approved. If you are ever concerned about what is going on in your neighborhood and you cannot get any answers, contact us. Email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Right now, police are searching for this missing 15-year-old Camby girl. They say she may be in danger and may require medical assistance. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office is looking for 15-year-old Paris Christine Stabler Day. Stabler Day was last seen Monday at 2:30 in the morning wearing a white sweatshirt with a rose on the sleeve, blue jeans or black leggings, and white tennis shoes. Stabler Day also has braces. If you've seen Paris Christine Stabler Day, call the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. That number is 765-653-5115 or dial 911.
There are still no known cases of the coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, in Indiana, but the CDC has said they expect coronavirus to eventually spread throughout the United States more than it already has. Today, we have learned that all of the coronavirus deaths in the U.S. have been in the Seattle, Washington area. Washington state health officials say they have confirmed 9 deaths due to coronavirus in and around Seattle. And today, the Hamilton County Health Department and Emergency Management Agency said they are ready to implement their flu and infectious disease plans if necessary. Again, there are no known cases of coronavirus in Indiana. However, the Hamilton County Health Department says if you have symptoms of respiratory illness, you should stay home. The primary symptoms of coronavirus include a fever, cough, and shortness of breath.
A proposal which could slow or even halt Indigo's future expansion plans has moved forward at the Indiana State House. Today, members of Indigo, the AARP, and more organizations held an event to call for lawmakers to reject a bill in the Senate. The bill would create consequences for Indigo if it doesn't raise 10% of the money for its projects from private donations. Of the $5 or $6 million needed to hit 10%, Indigo has raised about $35,000. There are no other known cities in the country that require public transportation funds to come from donations.
I have been doing this for nearly 30 years, and this is the first time in my career that I've heard of this.
The bill will now head back to the House for more consideration. The state's largest renewable natural gas plant is now open, and get this, it will convert trash into energy. Today, Connectrix Energy cut the ribbon on its Indy High BTU plant. It will convert methane gas from landfills into millions of gallons of natural gas every year. So that means more fuel for trucks and buses that run on natural gas and fewer greenhouse gas emissions.
To this end, we wanted to offer simple, practical, cost-effective, environmentally friendly energy solutions. And one of these common sense solutions is renewable natural gas that will be manufactured right here at this plant.
Well, the plant is being developed with the Southside landfill that's just south of Kentucky Avenue on the southeast side of Indy. Connectrix says once its new plant is completely up and running, UPS will purchase more than 50 million gallons of renewable natural gas over the next 5 years. Well, there are farms all across Indiana.
But in Westfield, we are focusing on one farm unlike any other in the state. It's called the Idea Farm, how it is helping students not only to create new things, but also create new goals and career paths.
The first night of the boys basketball sectionals begins March Basketball Buffet here in the Hoosier State. I'm Brad Brown here in Noblesville. As action's getting underway, we got to look at the Tigers of Fishers and the Eagles of Zionsville. We'll talk about a lot more of the area's big games coming up in sports.
Brad said buffet, and I perked right up. We'll talk about temperatures that will perk up, so to speak, as we go through the next several days. Now, mild days ahead, but notice the brief interruption. We'll talk about that and your weekend coming up.
Earn your crown and make it rain. This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Welcome back. Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's focus on linking you up with skills, resources, and jobs. And today we show you how education can take you into a career.
Yeah, our Kelsey Anderson joins us from Westfield High School with the details on a unique program that's growing the newest crop of workers as they prepare for the real world.
In this small space, just a 10 by 15 room, the opportunities to create are endless. But it's not just about creating new things. It's about cultivating new ideas and new goals here in the Idea Farm.
This is just one of the dozens of projects I've worked on. You end up with that.
At Westfield High School, cage-free ideas are served up daily here at the Idea Farm. The Idea Farm is a makerspace where students like John Warnes can come for a creative outlet.
Taking something from an idea to a completely functional thing.
Students have access to vinyl printers, software, sewing machines, and other technology to fertilize growth and inspire new ideas.
Came here without really knowing what a 3D printer is, and now I have one in my basement, and I'm 3D printing things that I'm selling.
A venture Warnes didn't even know was an option before coming here, and now it's part of his future. Warnes is heading to Purdue University next year to study engineering and technology.
This was what I needed as a student, and I know that there are students who need spaces like this.
Innovative specialist Joel Bruns started the Idea Farm as a creative outlet for students, but also as a training ground for the ever-changing workforce.
You're asked to be much more of a generalist in the workforce. You're asked to be creative in almost every field. We need to equip people who are ready for a workforce that is going to ask them to solve problems, to be creative, to use technology.
Warnes feels like the Idea Farm cultivated a new path for him, and he believes every high school should give students a place like this.
When you're given the opportunity to do things like learn how to use power tools or learn how to sew or learn how to use Adobe Illustrator, it really makes the possibilities endless, because having these just little life skills can be so important in the workforce and just daily life.
Brunn says they are always looking to partner with people in the community, no matter their idea, even if it's as crazy as a smart mirror. For more information on getting connected with the Idea Farm, visit hiringhoosiers.com. Working for you, I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Instead of my regular forecast, I just want to take a second and talk to you. Obviously, you've heard about the tragic and devastating tornadoes last night in Tennessee. I wish I could say they were preventable. They're not. If only a tornado warning was also a shield of protection for those communities in the path. That's wishful thinking. Warnings and warning sirens do buy us critical time, though. Time to get to the lowest level of our homes. That might be in the basement or an interior part of your house on the first floor away from windows. Warnings and outdoor warning sirens are only valuable if you're aware of them. Last night's tornado struck at the worst possible time, while people were sleeping and perhaps unaware of the approaching danger. Tornadoes are most likely from 4 to 9 p.m., but as Hoosiers, we know they don't follow a clock or a calendar. They can happen any time of day, any month, if conditions are right. You must have a weather radio or weather app, like Storm Shield app, that will wake you up when a warning is issued for your neighborhood. The app is free. Perhaps like yours, my heart rate goes up when a tornado watch is issued and warnings often follow. I too feel another level of anxiety. If you're afraid of storms, you're not alone. Concentrate on your plan of safety. Stress to your kids you have a plan to be protected. Use some of that anxious energy to track the storms. You can also do that with our app. That way you know when storms are moving away from you or moving toward you. Also, it's very important to know central Indiana counties. Know your home county and at least surrounding counties. You can print off a map like this. I keep them all over the place in the weather office. Keep those nearby in your kitchen. Several years ago, I got a phone call from a viewer I will never forget. A lady was terrified by the severe weather threat on that particular day. She wanted to know where to go to be safe. I started to tell her about the safest place to be in her home when she interrupted me. No, I'm leaving the state, she said. Where should I go? I realized my greatest responsibility to you is in times of severe weather. It's a pleasure to tell you about beautiful weather headed our way, but it's a necessity to share with you life-threatening weather information no matter the hour. There are actions you can take even on a sunny day. Make sure you have a way to be notified of warnings, the Storm Shield app, and make sure you know your counties or have a central Indiana county map to follow the warnings. And the best thing I can say, no storms in the immediate horizon. Temperatures will remain mild as you look at that 7-day forecast. A couple of showers possible north of Indy in the morning. We're dry Thursday. Temperatures take a quick dip, as you can see, as we get to Friday. Temperatures by the time we get to Sunday, though, almost 60 degrees. It's time for that basketball buffet that Brad was telling us about. Up to Noblesville we go.
Kevin, thank you, and good evening. A special midweek edition of our Hoosier Hoop Hysteria, the first night of the boys basketball sectionals. We're here at the Mill at Noblesville High School, one of 64 host sites all over the state of Indiana. Most of them tipping off here this evening. There will be some that wait and go on Wednesday as well. Let's get a look at a little bit of the action here between Zionsville and Fishers. We're midway through the second quarter. Zionsville in black uniform with a 1-point lead, shot up, and an offensive foul going the other way. So some aggressive action between these two teams in the first quarter, and a good way to get it started here tonight. The Tigers were 4-0 against teams in this sectional during the regular season. Their 18 wins is the best in the group. But let's get a look at the bracket as we will wait and see later this evening the defending 4A state champions. That's the Carmel Greyhounds. They're on the opposite side of this bracket as Fishers. The winner of this first game will face Westfield on Friday. HSC and Carmel, game 2 tonight. The winner moves on to face Noblesville Friday, and those winners will play for the sectional championship at 7:30 on Saturday. Now tomorrow night might be the biggest game in the state, maybe for the entire month for high school boys basketball. A state levels final matchup with number 2 Lawrence North and number 3 Lawrence Central. The blind draw of the tourney puts them in the opening game. Third time they've met this season. LN won both of those back on December 11th and a month later in the county tourney. Tomorrow's winner will be among the favorites to go all the way. We'll look forward to that one for you right about now, tomorrow night on the news at 6. Purdue's in action tonight as well. The Boilermakers on the road taking on Iowa. It's a late 9 o'clock tip in a very important game for the Boilermakers in this final week of the regular season, looking to carry on some of that momentum after their win over IU. Last time out against the Hawkeyes, the Boilermakers put up 104 points in a 104-68 win at Mackey Arena. They scored 61 in the first half, shot 63% from the field. But Iowa is 14-1 at home this season, and they're still in the running for one of those top 4 spots in the Big Ten tourney that would get them a double bye. Right now, Purdue's not an NCAA tourney team, but a win tonight could keep any hope of that going in the right direction.
I thought we were ready at Indiana. I think offensively, we were great. We didn't shoot well from 3. I thought our decision-making was above average at best. But I thought our effort was there. I think that's the sign that you want to see. No matter, where they're playing or who they're playing. And they've always mixed up zone press, a couple different looks from a zone, and then they're man-to-man. And so, you got to be prepared for everything. And Fran does a good job of switching and changing things up, just trying to keep people off balance.
The first 3.5. Games this week are extra point for Purdue and IU, trying to avoid the bottom 4 of the Big Ten standings. Those teams have to play next Wednesday on day 1 of the conference tourney. 5 through 10 gets to wait an extra day. Indiana plays Minnesota tomorrow night. That'll be a big deal. Keep in mind, Purdue holds a tiebreaker over IU if they finish even in the standings. Speaking of the Big Ten, the women's tourney starts tomorrow at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. A pair of games at 2 p.m. Start of a huge month of hoops in the Circle City. The Purdue women play here Thursday at noon, and the IU women open their tourney action Friday at 2:30. The Big Ten women's finals will be on Sunday evening. And, of course, the men's tourney starts a week from Wednesday. Sectional highlights and scores for you coming up tonight on the News at 11. We'll see you then. Time for a final break. Back to wrap up the News at 6 next.
% off your first lawn application.
We'll leave you tonight with this view from Putnam County there.
Beautiful sunset there.
That's right. Up next, here's World News.
See you then.